We are continuing on with lesson 3.5. This is 3.5b. So yesterday we were talking about implicit differentiation. So this is differentiating when you are not solved for y. So we have this function right here, x squared plus 4y squared equals 4. Okay, and you'll notice that's not solved for y, so we can't take the derivative of it like we normally do. But we still want to find the slope of the tangent line at this point. Now, I graphed this on Desmos for us. Let me pull this up here. Okay, it's an ellipse, as you can see, and we have our point. I even put that point there for you. That's our point, root 2, negative 1 over root 2, or whatever. So we want to find the slope of the tangent line that goes through this. So if I had to guess, I mean, it's definitely positive. It's definitely smaller than 1, so I don't know, 1/2, 1/3, who knows, something like that. So let's get through this using our implicit differentiation. So we are taking x squared plus 4y squared equals 4, and we are going to take the derivative of the whole thing with respect to x. Okay, both sides of the equation. So we start with x squared. The derivative of x squared is 2x plus the derivative of 4y squared, bring down the 2, so 8y to the first. But then we have to apply the chain rule. We don't know what y is. We need to take the derivative with respect to x. So we multiply this by the derivative of y with respect to x, dy dx. And then the derivative of 4 is 0. Okay, so that's our implicit differentiation. Now we want to solve this for dy dx. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. Oh, sorry. Forgot the dy dx. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 8y. Scroll down so we get a little more space. So dy dx is negative 2x divided by 8y, which of course we can simplify to negative x over 4y. Okay, so I'm just going to rewrite that up here. Our dy dx, our derivative, is negative x over 4y. Okay, now we want to find the slope at this point. Okay, so we have our x and our y. We're going to plug them both in. So we have negative root 2 over 4 times negative 1 over root 2. So negative root 2 over negative 4 over root 2. Of course, when we divide fractions, we multiply by the reciprocal. So this is negative root 2 times root 2 over negative 4. Root 2 times root 2 is 2, so we have negative 2 over negative 4, which is 1/2. Oops, sorry about that. So our slope is 1/2. If we wanted to, we could write the equation. This did not ask us to write the equation, but if you wanted the equation of the line, it would be y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. So if you were asked to write the equation, you would just do it there. I did both of these on Desmos, so let me find it here. I went ahead and wrote that equation, and sure enough, okay, right here we have that slope of 1/2. So this is definitely the tangent line at that point, so we have successfully found the slope, 1/2. Now, we could have done this the old way, okay? Same equation, I don't remember what it was anymore. X squared plus 4y squared equals 4. Okay, let me write that down. X squared plus 4y squared equals 4. If you were not using implicit differentiation, you would have to solve this for y. So let's do that. 4y squared equals 4 minus x squared. We're going to divide everything by 4. So 1 minus 1/4 x squared. And then we would need to take the square root of it. Okay. Now, notice I put the plus or minus in here. Going back to Desmos, you can see that we're on the bottom side of this ellipse. That's the negative side. So instead of doing plus or minus, I could just say, well, I know I'm on the negative side, just by the graph. So it's going to be negative square root of all that. So now, if we were doing it the old way, the way we learned first, we would need to take the derivative of negative 1 minus 1/4 x squared to the 1/2, which we can totally do. I'll prove it to you. We'll do it right now. So the derivative is, we're going to have to bring down that 1/2, 1 minus 1/4 x squared to the negative 1/2. Then we would have to apply the chain rule to this inside part right here. So the derivative of that inside part, let's see, the derivative of 1 is 0. The derivative of negative 1/4 x squared would be negative 1/2 x. And then we would clean that up. Negative 1/2 times negative 1/2 is 1/4. So we have a 4 on the bottom, an x on the top, and then we'll drop this down to the bottom. 1 minus 1/4 x squared. And now that we've done all that, remember we wanted to find the slope at, what was it, root 2, something, something, something. So then we would plug in root 2. Change colors, I'm running out of space here. So root 2 over 4, 1 minus 1/4 of root 2 squared. Okay? You plug all that in, it should get you back to 1/2. I'm pretty sure it does. It's not the most beautiful process, but you would get there, assuming that I didn't make any mistakes. But do you see how much easier implicit differentiation was than going through all of this mess? Okay, so I don't recommend this. We want to use implicit differentiation. On the next clip, we will check out example number 5.